A very warm welcome to StudyIQ, my dear friends. I am Prashant Mamani. I hope you all are doing good. Today is Saturday, so I have some instructions for you. Dear friends, on Sunday you are not provided with PIB analysis, but from Monday to Saturday on regular basis you will get PIB analysis. It is been delivered in two languages. One is English, of course, and the second one is in Hindi. So do keep this thing in mind to all new listeners, that on Sundays you don't get PIBs. With this, dear friends, identify the building that you can see on your screen. Of course, I'm sure this is not a very tough picture, but with the help of this image, what I want you guys to do is think about what are the structural changes. I'm not talking about the physical building, I'm talking about the institution, right? What are the changes that this particular institution requires? Just give a 2-minute thinking on, do a sort of what are the things that you know about it, and what are the changes that are required. Having said that, dear friends, StudyIQ offers you pen drive and tablet courses for various different examinations. To know more about it, check out StudyIQ.com. Just in case if you have any question or queries, we have chat support available for you, and you have these numbers as well. You can give us a call on these numbers. Now we have a focus topic of today is based on electronic vehicles. I have kept that thing in the last portion of this lecture, so we will quickly go through the other news items that we find in PIB today. First one is President is talking about, or he shared his views on Bhagavad Gita, and he was speaking during this International Gita Mahotsav 2017, which was held in Kurukshetra, Haryana. Now, dear friends, one thing is there that I want to add here before moving ahead, is that our country is a secular nation, right? And the unique thing about our nation is that the government, right, it can make necessary changes if some of the religious practices, right, if they are out to date or if they are against constitution, then government can make necessary changes, but religion or religious institutions cannot make any changes with the government. This is a very unique way of celebrating, or you can say adopting secularism, because you find there are many democratic countries and they call themselves secular, but the way things are going on, there is always, not always, but there are few countries, few examples are there. For us, one is Pakistan, the other one is Israel, and if you go there, then you will find that one particular religion is always given more importance, and many a times what happens is this creates a sort of inequality, a situation of inequality in the society. But our country is fortunate enough in this matter, and we have always accepted as a country, as a culture, right? Indian culture has always accepted new ideas, new religion, and in fact Buddhism, Jainism, then Sikhism, these are the religions that took birth in our country, India. So this is the history of our country, and that's how it should be, and the message of Gita. And if you, not only Gita, if you read say for example Quran, right, then you will find that knowledge and reading and this sort of things are, you will find literally there are chapters in Quran about reading, about a pen as well. And if you read Gita, then as well it talks about acquiring knowledge and wisdom and things like that. The central message is around this idea of knowledge. And today we can clearly say that our society, our ancient society, was of course based on agriculture. From there we moved towards commerce and industry, and today we know that we can safely say that we are heading towards, and much part of our society is, you can safely say it, a knowledge based society, and all of us are part of it, this knowledge based society. We know the importance that Indian culture gives to education and learning and things like that, and this is not only happening in our country. If you go abroad, then as well you find that all Indians who are living abroad, NRIs, right, they are also you can say they are also maintaining this ritual of giving importance to knowledge acquiring and things like that. And this is one of the reasons why Indian students abroad, they are able to perform well. This is one of the reasons. That does not mean that other students are not able to compete us. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that this is a positive side of our culture. And all these religious books, right, they have these do's and don'ts, and all of them are relevant. And of course, Gita is also relevant in today's time. With this, dear friends, President also appreciated the efforts taken by Haryana government in improving the child sex ratio. We know that the situation was bad in Haryana, but after this Beti Bachao Beti Padhao Abhiyan, BBBP, things have improved a lot. And we find daughters of Haryana in all variety of fields, from politics to education, mountaineering and wrestling and space travel. Kalpana Chawla, and the latest Miss World as well, she's from Haryana. And he also talked about women's empowerment and other things. With this, moving on to another item, and this is about Vice President. And Vice President said that the fruits of economic development should reach to each and every person in the society, particularly the poorest of the poor, because the thing that is, or you can say the paradox in our society, is that 1% of population is holding 50% of India's wealth. So this clearly indicates that we are going through economic inequality, or economic inequality is a thing that is prevalent in our country. And based on this thing, you find other any sort of inequality, right? It gives birth to other types of inequalities as well, like you find a division between rich and poor, and the more the gap is, the more you will find a sort of a gap between the way both these people are living. And you won't find poor people getting a society, or even you won't find them in a society that is occupied by, or you can say, in which you find rich people living. And what happens is, when we have this sort of ghettos within our cities or any area, then naturally the people who are poor, they are not going to get benefit of or they won't be able to benefit from the latest changes that are taking place in society in terms of electricity, in terms of internet and other things. And the expense or the things the money they have to spend after health, it's if you compare it in ratio, right, then you will find that it is the poor people are paying more when it comes to health and nutritious food and things like that. So this sort of thing is, of course, not good for any society at all. With this, he also shared his views on this Harijan Sevak Sangh, and this is very important point here. Please keep this thing in mind, that it was Gandhiji who framed the constitution, rules and regulations of this Harijan Sevak Sangh, and it was founded in 1932. So this is a bit of important information here. Of course, you know that it was about removing the social inequality in the society and prosperity and education of this Harijan people. With this, dear friends, he also talked about literature. He said that literature is the lifeblood of our society. So that's basically everything regarding this Vice President's views on these two items. With this, dear friends, we head towards Prime Minister's office, and a review meeting was conducted in which the progress and efforts that are taken so far in eliminating this malnourishment and problems or issues associated with it were reviewed by Prime Minister. In this meeting, Prime Minister's officials from PMO and Niti Aayog and ministers were present, and of course we know this issue of malnourishment and malnutrition and stunting and other problems that are related with it. We have talked about this thing. It directly impacts our future, our present, and we have to spend more. And in fact, rather than investment, it turns out to become a sort of expense for our nation. So we have to take proactive steps, and these things I'm sure we can apply our common sense and we can understand this thing. What Prime Minister has said that by 2022, this is the year in which we will celebrate 75th anniversary of independence. By then we should get rid of all this ill wills, and real-time monitoring, and this were other topics that were discussed during this meeting. Now let's head towards our focus topic, and this topic is a topic I believe you may find hopefully, and I'm sure, because this is a very important topic in itself. It has a direct relation with climate change. It has direct relationship with our economy, with the public health, right? So you can see that it is a very important topic. So please pay attention to this one, and whenever you find anything pertaining to this thing, EVs, then do add, right? Add on with this lecture. Of course, you would be reading from many different sources. So anything that you find, try to add it with this lecture. That's how you build your capacity. Moving on, dear friends, Nitin Gadkari Saab, he said couple of I think weeks ago or months ago, he said that by 2030 we won't have any sort of IC engines, right? That is internal combustion engines. Basically normal petrol and diesel cars, you won't find them, or the vehicles, right? It includes motorcycles and trucks and everything. So still we are not sure whether by 2030 we would not issue license, or you won't be able to sell any new vehicles, or we don't know whether this old vehicles, I don't know what is going to happen with them. But one thing is sure, that electric vehicles will be there, or majority of our roads will have electric vehicles by then. And this is not only a sort of eco-friendly thing, right, but it has some other impacts as well. Now the latest research that has been done by FICCI and US based this Rocky Mountain Institute, it says that we will save huge amount of money from oil. As you can see here, that the report says that India's urban population will make around 500 million trips daily, and for this we will need 1600 million tons of fuel every day. Can you imagine that? And of course 80% of our oil is imported. So whenever you have any sort of issues going on in Arab world, then it will have a direct impact on our country. We are very, you can say, vulnerable to this thing because of our dependence on oil, and we are spending huge amount of money as well. This is something that is not viable for a long-term future. And of course we know the situation of environment. We know things going on with how these countries, right, they exert a sort of pressure on us as well. If USA and Iran are not having good relationship, or if there is a sort of turmoil, then it will impact all of us, because it will kick in inflation. And this is something that has, as I told you, that multiple effect, or it is a sort of interdisciplinary thing. The other thing is that our import bill at that time would be $550 billion. This is huge amount, of nearly $500 billion. So this is as you can see, not a good thing. Now solution, right? Carpooling. I'm sure you know what carpooling is. Basically, if you have one car and if you have other people working in the same office, then you give them a lift, right? You will travel together, and you will share the money of this traveling and things like that. So this is the thing that we should promote, and if we do that, if we develop a culture of carpooling or taxi pooling and things like that, then we would be able to save more money from this EVs, right? So the impact of EVs would be more positive on our country, and compared to a business as usual, we would be able to bring down 6 crore vehicles in 2030. Now you would be thinking that 6 crore vehicles is not too much for India, but imagine its impact on road accidents. We know that road accidents we rank #1 in road accidents in the world, and the other thing is that traffic jams, they waste so many hours, human hours, isn't it? Man hours are wasted in traffic jams. So we would be able to fight against these things as well, and this taxi pooling, peer-to-peer vehicle sharing, and greater use of public transport. You can add last mile connectivity with the help of cycle and other things. So these things could add more value to it. Apart from that, dear friends, you can see here that Uber, right? This Uber pool has saved somewhere around. It can save 330 billion dollars, and 32 million vehicles. You can see here between 2015 and 17, 32 million vehicle kilometer were traveled, right, were saved, in fact, not traveled, because of Uber pool. 15 lakh liter of fuel was saved, and 35 lakh kg of this carbon dioxide was saved between 2015 and 17. So these are the benefits of carpooling. Apart from that, one of the biggest thing that we can do with this EVs, and we have to create this infrastructure and things like that, but one of the most important thing is we should have a clear-cut policy, or we should create an environment of battery swapping, because at present it is said that nearly 70 to 80% of expense, or you can say the cost of EVs, electronic vehicle, 70 to 18% is of battery itself. So you can imagine that if we have a policy of battery swapping, or if you can get a battery on rent, then your 70 to 80% money will come down, so everyone would be able to afford these EVs. Apart from that, at present it is 1.5 times expensive than normal cars, but the operating cost of normal car is 3 times higher than EVs. So here are some positive points in the bag of EV. And this we have this EV introduction of electronic vehicles will open a big opportunity for production of batteries in our country. This will employ many people, and of course the need of the hour is R&D in terms of battery. We have to do lots and lots of research, and we should find some sort of breakthrough in this thing. So these are all the important points so far that we have. So far I have to share with you guys. If there is anything else in future, then of course I will add these things for you. With this, yesterday's answers are Chandela's troposphere and biology and diversity, and today's question is, who among the following scholars were contemporary of Kanishk? First, Ashwaghosh, second is Nagarjun, third is Vasumitra, and fourth is Chanakya. Select the correct answer using the code given below. A, 1 and 2, that is Ashwaghosh and Nagarjun. B is 3 and 4. C is 2 and 4. And D is 1, 2 and 3. And the question number 2 and the last one is, who drafted the Constitution of Muslim League, also known as the Green Book? A, Rahmat Ali. B is Muhammad Iqbal. C is Muhammad Ali Jinnah. And D is Maulana Muhammad Ali Jauhar. With this, dear friends, I end this discussion. I will see you all on Monday. Till then, enjoy your studies, enjoy your weekend. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, pass your comments and answer. Jai Hind.